Welcome everyone to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross and this episode of Break Free from Self-Doubt, Discover Your True Self with Endre Hoffman, also known as the Doctor of Self-Worth. Endre, thank you very much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks very much. I'm so excited. Hopefully we'll change some lives.
Oh, absolutely. So, Endre, can you share with us your personal journey and how it led you to become known as the Doctor of Self-Worth?
Have you got half a day? I will share some of that. And I started off from Central Europe, and I was born into a family in Hungary. And I didn't connect with my dad. It went really pear-shaped. I didn't feel he loved me. He was so busy with his business. He was never around. And probably our lack of connection caused in me feeling unworthy, feeling not good enough, feeling that I didn't deserve his love. And unfortunately, these patterns of lack of confidence, insecurities started to take over my life. And as usual, the mind has these coping mechanisms. And my one was to become a high achiever, to prove myself. And early on in life, I played basketball. We won a championship at age 13 with the team. I started running marathons, ice climbing, crazy shit to win my dad's love. And nothing has worked. I didn't realize that he was completely emotionally shut down. He was egoistic, highly critical. So at home, life was on walking on eggshells, so he doesn't catch me on something that I haven't done or haven't done well enough. But all I got from him was discouragement, pretty much in everything. So at one point, I realized there's no point asking him anything because he's always talking about his business and doesn't care about anything else. And that lasted for the next 30, 40 years.
Wow.
So he never seen me as an adult. And probably one conversation that resonates, I just jump in time a bit to age 35, which I don't normally do with my story, but I asked him, I confronted him like, how did you repeat your life and days and your emotions for the last 30, 40 years? And he said to me, you will understand this son when you grow up. And I asked him, I'm 36 years old. When do you see me as a grown up?
Right.
So he was stuck in time. And that's actually one aspect of the mind, how people get stuck in their lives with their old emotions, old identities, and at times those limiting beliefs that are creating their experiences. So basically, I was so disconnected from myself. I didn't know what to do with my life. I thought, well, I need to make money. So I looked up which is the best paid area of the economy, and I was banking. So I ended up working in banking for about 5 years, and I made a career out of it. But I never felt that this is my calling, or this is something that I could do. But in the inner small devil and the voices kept coming. You are not on your purpose. What are you doing with your life? This doesn't make sense. And I had this self-beat up mode because my dad was not just abusive. We had a few physical fights, unfortunately. And it was all about kind of protecting my mom. He was controlling money. He was controlling resources. So I turned the self-beat up on, and I was frustrating myself about, not doing things good enough, never feeling that I'm fulfilling my purpose and potential. And probably that has led me to leaving the career. It was a successful career, and started to travel around and explore more of life and more of the answers that I didn't have. And I believe that physical distance will help you to overcome whatever I'm dealing with, because I couldn't even put my finger on it.
Right.
First, I moved to Ireland, and then later on, 7 years I lived in New Zealand, where I tried a corporate career. I was rejected. My girlfriend left me 3 months after that. The rejection patterns were killing my life. And I thought, well, this corporate career doesn't work. I will just go and look for answers in a spiritual realm. So I started traveling systematically over Asia, looking for spiritual gurus to tell me what's wrong with me, why
Right.
I can't be happy, because I've seen all these people maybe sleepwalking, but they were happy with their little house. They had a car, they had a boat in New Zealand, and they are happy as Larry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't cutting it for me. And um, and eventually we moved back to Europe. I found my girlfriend, who later on became my wife, and we had our first children in Europe. And then I started to go ballistic, and Anthony Robbins events, Brian Tracy, John DeMartini. I paid thousands and thousands of dollars, and I was reading through these books, and nothing has fundamentally changed. Like, it literally cost $100,000
Mm-hmm.
to find out what didn't work. And I love these events. I was so excited. Then, you know, goal amnesia set in. Like, that was what to do now. I was on the high,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why in some way, I do not recommend any more of these events, because they cost a lot. And at times it becomes a vicious circle, like me.
Yeah.
And I started two businesses up, and was driving them down the ground. It was recommendation marketing. I haven't been able to sustain success. And then the escape pattern kicked in again. there, came, there came Australia. My family started to pressure as a second child was on the way, and they said, now you really have to move down. Now you become a dad, all of these things. I said, that's all I needed. Gone. And we came to Australia in 2012, where I'm packing now to move back from my family. And in 5 years' time, because pressures of life started to crush me, now I was not the traveler anymore. I traveled on 5 continents in 70 countries. Now I had real responsibilities, and the pressures of a 12-hour job, and then the side hustle to break out of the job. This is the mantra I was telling myself. The job is for survival. The
Yep.
side hustle is to break out. One morning, my wife said, well, is it time for us to divorce? And
Wow.
that was my wake-up call. I'm like, who? This was deep.
Mm-hmm.
Deep, because again, the previous night, the kids were slapping me. I allowed my kids to slap me in the face if I was falling asleep, because this was our connection time, and I was reading, bedtime stories, and
Mm-hmm.
it became again a slapping competition. And I was so sad inside. I realized I've been running away from my dad for the last 20 years, and I'm exactly the same angry person, unhappy with his life. But I was running to the other direction, and I've done a full circle, and I'm pretty much now a dad who is never around, who is busy, working like a dog, and really didn't amount to anything. And at that point, because I missed every goalpost in my life pretty much, there's no
Mm-hmm.
problem. Like, I set goals as they told me,
Right.
and I said to myself, I give up all of my goals. I will have one last to resolve this. I don't even know what, this psychological trouble with my dad or myself, or that lack of self-worth, a lack of confidence that seems to be stopping me, and it puts me into these repeat patterns for 20, 30 years. And I was 30 years, 34 years at the time. So I then became committed, 100% committed. And I found within 6 months, interesting, huh? I found
Mm-hmm.
this mindset specialist here in Sydney, Australia, who has been able to help me to completely rebuild my self-image, or who I experienced myself to be. And it started to externalize. That ever since the Dr. Self-Worth brand took off, that was 6 years ago. And there was more and more freedom, emotional freedom first, and then more and more physical freedom as I started to work with clients from 3 continents. And for example, last year we were able to travel for 6 months. And we used a caravan around Europe to really do the research where we want to move next. And even before, we traveled 3 to 4 months a year. My kids are homeschooled. So we've sort of unlocked this new level of freedom, and I can work from anywhere. My kids love me. Eventually, they found their new dad, a transformed person, and luckily now I have this. I call it charged life, where I love what I do, and I have set up things on my terms, and I don't have to do anything else, because the rest, I believe, as business owners, we can delegate. And I love doing transformation work where people are unlocking the new results from seemingly impossible places, new opportunities, new relationships, new lives are being unlocked. I hope I was able to fill it for you, and I didn't take too much time.
Oh no, that's wonderful. You went through the ringer, so as we would say, that's the fact that you were able to recognize those patterns, but you went through that, and obviously, finally, in the end, you found your purpose. There's many people that just get stuck and can't see their way through, which is where I think your story or your journey is invaluable to people, because I think people will be able to relate to that. I'm sure there's others that have been, stuck or not. And we've all done the shiny objects, chasing those events and the coaches and all of that, and, spent thousands, like you said, thousands of dollars. Hasn't always gotten us to where we want to get, but you were able to find someone, and now here you are. You're in your purpose, and you're able to help other people get unstuck. I think that's beautiful.
Well, that decision, probably I have not expanded on that, but when it was time for us to divorce and my health was collapsing, I decided that probably I will, for the rest of my life, I will be dedicated to this one thing, and I'm probably beyond health, so I will never going to resolve this. That was my expectation. And interestingly, fairly shortly, I basically, this is important, I believe, because when I realized I wasted so much money to these books and events and seminars. See, the way I set it up my business is for exactly someone else who has been on this never-ending journey of the new book, the new video, the new podcast. Is I really have set myself up to, experience me for an hour for free. And then I guarantee your transformation if that's what resonates with you. So it's not like, well, we will try, or I promise you this, just give me your money.
No. No. And I love that about you too, because you'll actually have a discovery call with people and talk to them and see if they're even ready, or if they are a good fit. So it's not necessarily about the money. It's about truly being able to help people and get them from not being stuck.
I don't even want their money if they are not getting the results, those specific results that we sort of come up with, which is a goal or an experience they want to have. Because I believe then I did not win it, and I did not fulfill their desire. And all it really takes is a committed person. I talk the commitment a lot, and that's what it took for me. Probably 34 years in preparing to be committed.
Yeah.
But then it became life and death. And I believe this bloody subconscious mind has this amazing way to keep the status quo, to take you back to familiar grounds and repeat patterns through relationships or lack of money or lack of abundance or whatever you're dealing with. And there comes a point when you say no more. The new standard has been created where you say, that's the old version of me. Yep. The new one does not care. There is no plan B. I'm going to change this out, hire and invest time and money into it. And I believe if you have the right practitioner with you, I believe you should get your money back if you don't have experiences that is changing your results and reality. I don't believe in, oh, you have to come here for 3 years and at the end, the magic will happen. I don't believe magic from the hat. I believe in gradual shifts in your perception, in experiences that you may have or beliefs, and then see life reveal itself in a new way. That's how it's got to happen.
Yeah.
So I believe if you're serious about yourself, get a money back deal.
Yep, which I know you offer. Yep. So tell me, what sets your approach to self-worth and self-belief apart from other methods that are out there?
Well, my approach is I really can connect with my clients and I look for the root. Most people have 3, let's say 5 bigger limitations. And then I usually, here's the example that sometimes I show people. So here's the camera. And I believe some people have almost like a cobweb running in their head. There's these 5, 6, let's say very limiting ideas about their worth or their confidence or whether they are unwanted or not loved, whatever it is. And then inside this cobweb, there are those negative emotions which are the glue that keeps these things alive. And unfortunately, these beliefs then kind of support each other in holding this person back. So I normally come with a scissor and I look at, oh, what if this is not true? What if this is not true? And then we start to release the negative emotions fairly fast. And I find them sometimes very early in life, even previous lives or generation, to take care of that root. And it's similar to work in the garden. You could mow or cut your weed above the ground level. Well,
they're just going to come back.
And they keep growing back. And this is where I see a lot of people are, oh, I'm not well today because I haven't done my self-care, my meditation and my affirmation, all of these things. That tells me there is something fundamental that they have to struggle with each day to restore themselves to a level of kind of sanity and peacefulness.
Right.
That's only happens when something is still, I believe, unresolved. There is no problem with meditation if one is meditating, but I kind of hear from all direction that some people are doing these for half an hour, 1.5 hours each day to take care of themselves so they can face and confront the world.
Right. But what they're really doing is not finding the root of the problem.
Yeah, it's a temporary fix. And of course the wounds fire again and those negative emotions restart because at the root level it has not been dealt with, has not been released. And there is this, I believe, life is built so beautifully on earth. I believe things that you have not resolved will keep coming back like a boomerang. and whack you in the head and hit you in the heart, and you will be emotionally triggered over and over again, and that's a sign. That's a sign that you are still carrying some, we call this down here baggage, some trauma from the past that is still controlling your present and obviously the future. If you have experiences, and we all have experiences that are, let's say, less than optimal, but that again is just a mirror.
Right. Yep. No, absolutely. And I know we have a lot more to discuss, because I know we got some recommendations I know you can give people that are feeling stuck and with the battle of self-worth and self-doubt. But we have to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
We got soul, oh yeah, we got soul.
Are you having challenges with self-doubt, confidence, and feeling worthy? Well, I remove the struggle from your mind so you can achieve peace and confidence within. I reconnect you to your authentic leadership and naturally high self-worth. I'm known as the doctor of self-worth, and I help my clients to multiply their impact in life and business. I give you a new experience of you. Now, what makes me unique? Free session and a guarantee of transformation. I love profound, life-changing conversations. So remember, unlocking your potential is what I do. See you soon.
Relief for PTSD, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and many other ailments. Introducing Vibe, the world's only pocket PEMF device. You place it in your pocket while cooking, cleaning, relaxing, watching TV, sitting at your computer, reading, or walking. Self-contained standalone device. No drugs. No other phone or Bluetooth connections required. No monthly subscription fees. No apps to download. No Bozone. The future of medicine is in the frequencies. Come join the revolution.
So, Andre, for someone feeling stuck and battling self-doubt in today's fast-paced world, what initial step would you recommend that they take to start their transformation?
I have a few steps. I believe if you follow these, you will end up transformed. Number one, I think you need to catch the idea that change is possible. Now, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, and there's a distinction here, change is possible for you. Because we tend to come from environments where you may not have seen massive change taking place. So change is possible. Change is possible for you. Well, if you take a shortcut approach, I believe then find out what is your challenge. What is the specific issues that you are dealing with? And you're so lucky because now the world is full of specialists. So you could go two ways. You could find someone who has gone through it and resolved it. You could find someone who has gone through it and resolved it and able to help you to resolve it. Now that's two different types of person. You're looking for business success. It could be someone who's really successful, no idea how to teach this, and no clue how they have done it. They are not going to help you much. So you want to look for someone who has a track record, who has been able to resolve this consistently. And probably reviews and doing your little research is an ideal way, where you check out, how long they have been doing this, or how many breakthroughs, what type of breakthroughs they've been able to deliver. Mm-hmm. And when you've done that, then check them out, have an experience, and see if you can connect with them and you feel understood, you feel that they could actually help you. Then comes the biggest decision: commitment.
Yep.
Like, you want to commit to this method, whatever it is, for at least, I always look at 6 to 12 months at least. And you should see massive changes taking place. If this person is real, change must come, because then they must have had hundreds of cases behind them. And if they are true, because be careful, in the online world now, you could find some fake ones. Wonderful marketers are out there, but I've heard from people there's not much behind. There's no method. There's wonderful marketing. But check out, do your research. And if you run through these 5 steps, so just to recap, it was: change is possible for you. Then find someone who's been able to resolve the challenge that you have, or the problem. Check out and do your due diligence. And then if you connected, you tested them out, you okay about it, commit to the process, invest time and money into it. And yes, if you can, get some kind of guarantee. Why not? So they are committed as well. Can you see my level of commitment when I tell someone that you either get there, you get your money back, or I work more with you.
Right.
I'm bored. Like, I had some people I worked with daily, because they had an addiction of, it was gambling, alcohol, and drugs. Like, I couldn't let them go for a week or 2, because they were not ready to be worked with at an ideal 1 or fortnightly basis.
Yeah. So how do you guide individuals in recognizing and breaking free from the negative self-talk that holds them back?
Well, what I found is the past has the answers. Something has happened in their past, and they decided to limit themselves. They've forgotten who they are. And I basically come in and I find that event. And, at an angry person or someone who's frustrated, I was just talking to someone before us. Well, she had 30, 40 years of feeling worthless. And I said to her, we will need to pinpoint when you took on this idea, or when someone has told you that you are useless or worthless. Because before, that was the true version of you. An authentic version who didn't care about what people said, who didn't care about anyone or anything. She or he was probably in charge of her emotions, excited about life. And that's where I need to take people back to. Because
do you ever have people that struggle to go back that far, or to remember when it started?
It's not. It does take creating this very safe bubble and space for people. And the masks start to come off. But most importantly, the answers are inside the mind. Mm-hmm. The mind exactly knows. It's a very logical thing. It's almost like a computer. It installs programs to protect one, or create almost mechanisms to feel safe, or to feel loved or appreciated, or feel one is in power, or at times it's variety. There's only a few things that drives the mind and human needs. And most people are, and this is the tricky one here, most people, I'm talking about 80-90% of this planet, they always achieve their subconscious needs and goals. Probably not the life that they wanted.
Right.
Whereas they usually have their conscious goals. Oh, this is what I want. I want abundance, more freedom, more time, and, you know, less stress and all of these things. They know this consciously. But the map inside from early on in life, this drives the ship forward. And the direction is different. The direction is survival. And until that mind is reset, recalibrated, we can call it anything, and the map changes, there is this discrepancy where people are actually not getting what they want because their mind and internal resources are not aligned with their conscious intention. That's when the magic starts to happen. And it's not hard work. Yes, it takes showing up. Obviously, we need to participate in life. But as I said in one of the books that I've written, is a business owner or any results in business and life are to do with the skill level or mindset of the leader or the person. So the results in itself are just reflections of that mindset and skills.
Okay.
So life does send you signals.
If you pay attention to them.
And not easy to learn.
Yeah. Can you maybe walk us through a specific technique or exercise that helps people shift their mindset and boost their self-worth?
Well, what could shift your mindset is think of, so most people, and I want to just give you a bit of background to this.
Sure.
A lot of people are carrying moms or dads' beliefs, behaviors, patterns, and reactions. So look at one, take a notepad and take a pen right now and maybe write down what are the 3 biggest challenges that you are dealing with now, the problems that seems to be constantly coming back to your life, or they reoccur over and over and over again. And if you find the top 3, you want to have a look whether your mom and dad or an authority from, sometimes it's grandma, grandpa, have they had these? Or aspects of them was telling you that you may have not noticed that they had similar challenges. Obviously, it's not an easy one to sort of backtrack and follow through. But remember, young people, and especially children, they have no critical factor. So if I want to gain mom, dad's, grandma, grandpa's love, the safest way to do it is to copy them.
Yep.
The way to build rapport, if there is this this person who's got depression, or they are negative or critical, well, I don't want to trigger them by being the happy chappy, the optimistic, the full on energy, because that will not match this person's stance or behaviors or emotions. So evolution has set you up to fit in.
Right.
Because fitting means you will get fed, you will get clothes, you will have roof over your head, you will have the perfect survival programming. Well, what's the problem? You will survive. Your life will become survival instead of thriving, free, doing what you love, making a difference, and helping planet, flora, fauna, what you can along the journey. So the more you find out about what is going on, where did I bring all of these struggles and troubles, it creates more awareness. Obviously, you might need external help to resolve it or disidentify with those limitations, because the trick here is that under the age of 10 or 12, you have not been able to separate what was going on from your identity. So it was almost pre-installed. Whatever you brought up with, or whatever experiences you had in your childhood and you have seen, has been built in. Because, as I said, evolution is equipping you, is setting you up for survival for the rest of your life, and time is frozen as far as the mind. You were given a map that evolution assumes that the experience and the environment will never change. So as long as you keep that map, you operating the same principles, you apply the same solutions, then hopefully you will be able to reproduce, and of course your generation will not go extinct. That's the programming, where it just does not count that, oh, the environment could change. Oh, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
most people I say, well, and sometimes I talk to business owners and then they realize, oh, mom's petters are running the business. And I have these wonderful conversations that, well, is it time to fire your mom? Because now you are not able to grow the business because you're operating out of these fees.
Yeah, and it's not that we're blaming anybody. I mean, they brought us up. They did the best they could. But what we're saying, or what you're saying, is that we have the ability to make those changes and change the map and make it better when you recognize the patterns.
It's new awareness. It's disidentification. Parts of ourselves that we picked up from others. And at times, the environment could have been abusive, even too aggressive. And then, people could just decide, and that was me. I decided, well, I'm not going to set up and lead. Because I get hammered every time. I never get encouraged. And I had these wonderful people around me all the time who reminded me that I'm not a public speaker. I don't know how to tell a story. And I attracted every experience that I've seen that, well, I'm the quiet one who's feeling left out.
And you can tell a story. We just proved that. I think you're doing a remarkable job. Just saying.
Well, if you told me this 6 years ago, that I would be on a few podcasts or public speaking and I would be known as someone who is helping people through telling stories, I would have laughed my head off.
I can relate to that. I can relate. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But here you are. And you do have a YouTube channel. I know that, right? Where you want to tell them a little bit about your YouTube channel?
Yes, the YouTube channel is, the handle is Doctor of Self-Worth.
QR code's on the screen. They can scan that. It'll take them there.
Thank you. So the YouTube channel I created as an educational channel where I put this transformation work into bite-sized little videos. Some are 10, 15 minutes, but most of them are just a few minutes. It's one concept that you can investigate in you, in your psychology, in how you operate, in how you run your life. So it's free and it's designed to help you on the journey. And as long as you are looking for real, I wanted to give as much value as I can. And I really love creating these tiny and sometimes longer videos. And also I have a podcast. It's called The Heroes Podcast, where I had, obviously, Laura the other day. So excited to share her. But I always look at how one has been able to turn around their struggle, trouble, and pain into an empowered life. A life of contribution, fun, and joy. And this is why I love these stories, because I always want to highlight the middle part. What's been the contributing factors? What decisions have they made? What has made the difference? So probably if you're listening to us, you would need these stories. Because these people have gone through immense, impossible challenges.
I think we all have them on a different level, which is why I love having people on the show to, share their journeys. So, because I'll guarantee you, there's someone out there that can probably really relate to some of the struggles and stuff that you went through. But so, in helping people, let's just say, in your experience, what common patterns or obstacles do people face when trying to improve their self-worth, and how do you help them overcome those challenges?
Well, I believe the big ones is that not feeling good enough, or not feeling worthy or unworthiness. There's a big one too when they cannot receive, guilty receiving patterns. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that is usually tied to some kind of receiving and giving love, not feeling approved, or at times where people are feeling specifically not wanted. And what we do then is, again, look for the root. Where did this start happen in their lives? What has happened in that event where unfortunately they must have had been exposed to events which became unfortunately traumatic? And we need to find it. And remember, the mind has this, I call the memory bank. we need to Google. And this is the thing, that probably you could do this on your own. But mind does not come with an instruction manual. So what I help most of my clients with is this chatting mind has to shut up to actually access the information that we're looking for. Because the mind works perfectly. If safe was to be quiet, this lady I was talking to from Montreal, she said, well, Dad had anger attacks, so she decided she must become invisible so she will not get hurt. Now, this is a 4-year-old girl, and she's 58 years old now. Her experience is that people don't like her. They don't even acknowledge her. Sometimes she shows up on these events of, speed connection and where people get to meet, and she's sitting at a table on her own, literally living the belief that I'm invisible and I'm not liked.
Wow.
She's living out the exact programming 50 years later. Why? Because the mind is filtering experiences. Remember, you and I and all of us have this limited human mind, and that does process less than 1% of what's actually happening around you. So almost blindfolded, we're walking around thinking that we know what's going on. Well, we don't. And what your experience of life is, of your results are, how you translate what happens on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And you pretty much ignore 99%. Well, that 99% could be that you are wonderful, you're a genius, people love you, you're appreciated, you listen to, you respect it, and you'll never get to experience that because the filters are always on. And the filters are nothing else but the beliefs that are the components of your identity, who you think yourself to be. Well, if we're able to shift that, imagine if we change the filters.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's the work, really, is to take off and change the filters. And once you have a new, and this is the problem, it's not lexical, you can learn about this, but if you can't get access to the CPU, the central processing unit in your mind, the cockpit, then you will have a lot of lexical knowledge. I've met people who are masters at the theory. Their lives and results didn't change. That was me at one point. I had trouble finding new information, but it's not information. It's a new experience of yourself.
Yep.
It's what it takes to change you, change your identity, or sometimes I call self-image or self-worth. And that will start to externalize. Why? Because now you will see different things happening around you. They have been there all along.
Yep.
My mentor used to say that, oh, abundance has been provided a long time ago. It's time to throw out your bloody umbrella.
I like that. Endre, before we wrap all this up and go, could you share maybe a success story of someone who was once stuck in self-doubt but transformed their life under your guidance?
Yes, it was Katalin from Melbourne. She runs a beauty spa. And what we found out, she had all of these annoying people around her. And when she was driving or go to work, and we found out she was judgmental. She got it from mom, but she didn't know, and she was constantly pissed off and angry about these useless people because the judgments were running. And when we were able to release this, and she found herself outside of judgment, she really started to connect with her clients like never before. She in a longer year, she quadrupled her income.
Wow.
But then she had another belief that, oh, people are unreliable, they're useless, so she could not grow her business. So we removed that belief as well. And ever since, she's been hiring people and, replacing herself. And there is this wonderful business now that is giving her a lifestyle, because I believe that's a massive quantum leap when one is not creating home employment and a hamper wheel.
Yeah.
But if you're running a business, at one point you really need to replace yourself, and that takes, again, usually a mindset shift. It won't work before.
It does. Working everything yourself only lasts for so long. So, yep.
And you've got limited hours and limited resources. So And especially if you want to create impact, you need a team. And I believe then you could really serve the world. And by earning more and having access to more resources, you'll be able to contribute and help more and more people. And then you will see what happens, because it will keep coming back to you financially in many other ways that I've been experiencing too.
Well, we have a few minutes left, and I know you have a wonderful newsletter that has a lot of resources that you send out for people. What is the best way? I have your website QR code up there right now. Is the website the best way for people to connect with you?
Absolutely. There is the website as it's out there, drselfworth.com, and you can sign up. It's free, and you can also access. There is a few books. One of them is called How to Discover Your Authentic Self Faster Than You Ever Thought Possible. It has steps and exercises that I walk my clients through to really find the authentic version of you who's not struggling, who's playing out. It's effortless. And I also have self-worth principles that serve me along my journey. And there's a quick self-worth test in the resources tab on my webpage, which you can take, and it can just troubleshoot you a bit. Make symptoms that you might have. So, because some people don't realize that, oh, I'm having self-worth, self-confidence issues. They just think this is normal to them.
Right.
And there was one day, I believe 2 or 3 years ago, when I realized, oh, I was growing up in domestic violence. I didn't know that.
No, it became your normal.
And you know what? I have seen it happening in the surrounding area and in the families that I knew, in my family and outside of my family. So environment is a tricky thing, and shifting the environment is obviously another way of a breakout, where you really look for communities and new friends who are playing life at a higher level. You want them around you as soon as possible. But yeah, get in touch through my website, and if you put in hashtag Dr. of Self-Worth, you'll be able to probably find one of my social media channels as well. Send me a message. I'm happy to chat if you're serious about your transformation.
And you offer a free discovery call, I believe, too, right? Correct.
Absolutely, at least 60 minutes, and I'm not good with time, so I'm focused on more life-changing, giving value than anything else, because I don't want less on every conversation that I have.
Absolutely. And I think that's beautiful. I love what you do, and I am sure others can relate and resonate with you as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for giving me the stage. I really enjoyed it, and I hope the world got to know you in and outside of the US, Laura, because you're a blessing. And you are connecting people who probably need each other more than ever before. Thank you for being great.
Thank you. And thank you for doing what you do. I think that's wonderful. Especially, I love your whole outtake on it. There's not many people that would do that, guaranteed. It's not about the money for you. It's truly about helping people create change. And I absolutely love that. So thank you so much for being with us today. And everybody else, we will see you next week on Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. Enjoy your week.